Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sam Kwok here, one of the Kwok Brothers. Welcome back to another stimulus check update. This is July 28th. Finally, we have a bill on the table. The bill is called the HEALS Act. So we have a lot to cover here, a lot to update with you guys as far as what is on the table and what is not on the table. So right now with the stimulus scoreboard, we've been predicting this pretty darn well, actually. A lot of the items in the likely, it's there. A lot of the items in the pending has actually now moved over to the likely side, and some of the items in the pending list now have moved to the not likely side. So let's go and talk about what is likely for sure in this bill. So $1,200 amount, we got it right. So it is confirmed now, $1,200 for every single tax filer and $2,400 for anyone that's filing married or joint, and also $500 for every dependent. Now, what is different about the HEALS Act when it comes to the $1,200 check is that the dependent check of $500 no longer has an age gap. So if you have a child that's 20 years old or 22 years old and they're still being claimed as a dependent, well, guess what? You get $500 for that dependent, even though their age is not 17 or less, which is something that we've seen back in the last version of it with the CARES Act. So I did guess the $1,200 amount correctly, so I guess I deserve at least a like button from you guys, right? Go ahead and smash the like button, turn that like button to blue, help us out with our YouTube algorithm to get this video out to as many people as possible. Now, as far as the unemployment benefit goes, it is now capped at $200 a week. Remember, guys, the bill is not passed yet, so it's still up in the air as far as discussion of different terms and adjusting different numbers. Right now, as the bill is introduced, it's at $200 a week till the end of September, and after September, starting October 2020, unemployment insurance will now convert into 70% of your ordinary income as far as the unemployment check goes. So let's say, to give you an example, you get paid $1,000 a week, you would get a matched bonus of both state and federal unemployment benefit of 70% of your income, which would be, in this case, $700 a week as part of the unemployment benefit. So that's definitely in the list, but so I'm going to modify this real quick up to September 2020 and converts to 70% in October. So there's a little bit of structural differences now. Yes, $200 a week, temporary, but after October, we're going to be seeing 70% of income as far as the aid. What's also likely is the Paycheck Protection Program, and just like how I've been suggesting, the Paycheck Protection Program will only be available for businesses that have suffered 50% of income drop, which makes sense at the end of the day, right? If the business has not suffered, why should they take the Paycheck Protection Program, right? So that's also in the likely list and on the bill right now. A big item that used to be in the pending list, the liability protection, is now part of the likely. So I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to make a little bit more room. So the $1,200 check, unemployment benefit, Paycheck Protection Program, and now the liability protection has joined the bandwagon of the likely category. So what a liability protection is, it's available to medical centers, businesses, restaurants, schools from getting sued because of a health hazard due to the coronavirus. So let's say someone sues a restaurant because they believe that the restaurant didn't do a good job protecting them for coronavirus. The restaurant ultimately gets sued, but there's also a layer of liability protection. The person that's suing the restaurant now has to come up with more evidence as to how the restaurant has willfully, negligently caused that to happen. So that's a liability protection, and I know last time we talked about this being 5 years, but now has decreased to 1 year for the liability protection. So there's a statute of limitation for 1 year. I'm going to change the color a little bit because all we're seeing here is black. So this is for 1 year, and I know it's getting messy, so we'll clean this up for tomorrow. Another item that's on the bill, and I'm not going to put it on the board here, is the employee retention credit. So this is for employers and businesses that has suffered anywhere between 25 to 50% income drop. They will qualify for a 50% refundable tax credit up to $30,000 per year. Again, this is for employers and businesses that have suffered during the coronavirus pandemic. They've lost income, but they're being encouraged to keep hiring and keep the employees hired, and they would get a tax credit for that. The other thing that's, I'm not going to put it on the list because it's going to be too big, is the work opportunity tax credit, again, for something for employers and businesses. It's a $5,000 tax credit to employers hiring individuals in select groups. There's YouTubers talking about this, how this is just free $5,000 to businesses. Definitely not true. This is actually for a $5,000 tax credit for employers to hiring a specific group of people. So we got to get the language correct there. So it's not just $5,000 willy-nilly out to businesses for free. There's a specific reason why the businesses are getting $5,000 for hiring specific groups, and individuals. More along the lines of businesses, I know a lot of business owners and employers watch this video and watch our channel. So businesses also get 50% tax credit for protection gear up to $1,000 per employee. So for example, I have 2 full-time employees in my office. If I spend $2,000 worth of protective gear, such as mask, hand sanitizer, extra soap, extra cleaning gear, then I can get a $1,000 tax credit for spending $2,000 on protective gear. PPE is what it's called. So for businesses and employers, if you spend $1,000 per employee on protection gear, then you can get a tax credit of 50%, which is pretty good. And last, for our businesses and employers that are listening and watching this, 100% deductions on meals. So if you go and do business meals, if you go and take a client out for lunch, then 100% of that amount can be tax writable. Again, this is temporary. It's not a permanent change to the tax laws, but temporarily, businesses can now claim 100% of their meals, business meals, as a tax write-off, which is really, really good. Okay, so let's go and talk more about the pending list. Schools, $105 billion funding is now in the likely list. So we'll move that into the likely category. Okay, $105 billion for schools. Okay, $1 billion for schools, and this is K through 12, also universities as well. Now, what's not included in the likely zone, but still considered pending, is the eviction moratorium. So this is the temporary halt when it comes to eviction. So in English, it's basically an eviction ban. Now, that's not on the bill right now. It's not mentioned in the bill, but I have a feeling that the Democrat senators are going to try to fight for the eviction moratorium very, very soon to be included in the HEALS Act. So eviction moratorium, I don't think it's not likely. I think it's still kind of in the air right now. Eviction moratorium is still pending. EIDL is not in the bill right now. I know a lot of YouTubers are making videos about this saying, hey, it's confirmed, it's going to be out, don't worry, the money will be there. Again, it's not on the bill. Maybe it's a separate bill, which it is, but I have not seen that being included in the HEALS Act. So this is still pending, but very soon might be a not likely category, as there were a lot of abuse with the EIDL loan program. Retention credit, we just talked about that. No back to work credit or bonus, which to me was a surprise because Republicans were talking about this, thinking that this is going to be a big opportunity, but we haven't seen that in the bill. Maybe I could be wrong. I'll keep on researching and doing the work for you guys, but no back to work bonus. So far what's pending is the eviction moratorium and the EIDL. That's pretty much in the pending right now. Not likely. We've been talking about this for a while. Mortgage forbearance extension is not likely. Okay, and again, you can still get a mortgage forbearance right now. We talked about that yesterday. Payroll tax cut, not likely, but may come in the future. I would say that's maybe 10% chance that it will reappear again. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just kind of recap everything. $1,200 check is confirmed. It's locked. It's going to be there for you guys. I'm anticipating maybe end of August if it's passed anytime this week or next week when Senate is still in session. So this may come late August, mid-September-ish. Okay. Liability protection for businesses up to a year. Statute of limitation says that. Unemployment benefit, $200 a week till September 2020, and after October, 70% of the income will be given as the unemployment benefit. Paycheck protection program, more funding available for businesses that lost income, 50%. $105 billion for schools, and of course, we got several lists of items for businesses and employers to rehire, retain employees, and also spend more money on personal protection gear such as hand sanitizers, masks, gloves, and things like that. Pending eviction moratorium, still not being talked about in the bill, but I have a suspicious feeling it will reappear. EIDL fund, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be on the not likely zone, but we'll have to see. So that's pretty much it as far as the update to the HEALS Act and what we've been waiting. Finally, it's on the table. Now, Senator Mitch McConnell did mention that the HEALS Act is a starting point. That means there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be added, taken out. So we have to keep on watching for the remaining week. This is when the Democrats and the Republicans are going to basically duke it out and try to figure out what's going to be in the bill and what's not going to be in the bill. Again, what I've been saying for weeks now and for days is pass the doggone items and provisions that both Republicans and Democrats agree on, and later on come back to things that there are disagreements or things that need to be refined. I hope that some assistance do come and pass sometime this week. We don't know, but we'll have to keep on watching, so I'll keep you guys updated. Another reason why you guys should definitely subscribe to our channel if you guys want more updates as far as what's happening with the HEALS Act.